Everybody crack a book. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. Tater. Right.
Tater.
Like I keep saying. It is a, what would you call it? Autocratic kleptocracy.
Yeah.
Which is
Yes.
what Trump would like to turn
Yes.
this into. Keith tweets, send Greg Abbott to Russia so we can quickly shut down their electric grid. See, there's still comedy in the middle of tragedy. That's funny. Okay. Daniel Goldman said Biden has completely outsmarted Putin. He undercut every pretext Putin cultivated to justify an invasion, leaving the world and especially the Russian people without any plausible explanation for the invasion, and Biden unified Democratic allies to support Ukraine's defense.
And unified NATO. I mean, everything
Yeah.
Donald Trump did for 4 years to break apart the NATO alliance has been undone.
Yeah.
And now you've got Finland wanting to join, Sweden wanting to join. But it's going to be a stronger alliance than it has been for decades.
Russians in the streets and the bravery that takes, and the amount of Russians and the amount of cities in Russia protesting this. Because that was what, I kept saying, John, I think was so shrewd, was what Dan Goldman said is exposing the intelligence to the whole world and say, we've been calling this for how long, right? And
calling it for how long and exposing the intelligence, which was really unprecedented. But, they took away Russia's having a chance to have any kind of precept and not being able to, it wasn't so much their disinformation. They were pre-disinformationing Russia. And when Hitler annexed the Sudetenland, he said it was because the Czechs were ethnically German.
Yeah.
It's the exact same rationale right now, except that these ethnically Russian people...
the Jewish leader of Ukraine a Nazi?
Oh, yeah. These ethnically Russian people in Ukraine, my wife spent a lot of time in Ukraine. They view themselves as citizens of both places. They don't hate Ukraine, and they live there, and it's their neighbors. And this is going to backfire in so many ways.
Yeah.
I don't know how Putin can make this bigger than he's made it at this point, because the guy has no money, right? He doesn't have any money of his own. Like, he has no bank account. We don't know where he keeps it. The oligarchs keep him floated. I'm really curious to see if we can possibly enter a new phase of warfare where they can just put such an economic hurt on a guy. Well, I mean, California's got a bigger economy than Russia, right? We're 12 times. The U.S. is 12 times the size. Yeah. So all they've got is oil, and land and troops and grain, I guess. I mean, Ukraine has grain as well. So how much can they put a hurt on Russia when the oligarchs are going to be protected? And these are hurts designed to not hurt the Russian people. I just want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
At what point do they start seizing assets?
I want to, because this gets above my pay grade, but I want to talk to Malcolm about, all the talk about sanctions. I think part of the problem is he really is like Trump. Like, he doesn't give a about the, Russian people.
No.
He doesn't give right? I mean, it's like he doesn't care what hurts the Russian people. That's what makes him dangerous. He's a lunatic. He's a
I don't know if he's a lunatic. He's very calculating. He is not
but
reckless.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't. So in terms of what will hurt him and whether you could sanction him personally, they always say, like, they want to leave that option because, there's going to have to be, what's the word? Dialogue at some point to end this in some way. But I don't, again, above my pay grade.
I don't know
what sanctions we should be doing when and what's going to work.
I
and
don't
what's
see him
not.
giving it up either. He didn't give up Georgia.
Right.
It's like we're just saying, okay, how do we stop him from doing this to Poland?
Right.
What is the line going to be?
Right. Nick tweets, Biden and the intel community were 100% right and communicated clearly what was going to happen in Ukraine. Remember that. And this is, Putin's apologists, right? Fox and elsewhere were the ones saying, oh, you're being hysterical. You're being, it's not going to happen. Oh, they're just being Russia's talking points, right? This wasn't going to happen. Noel Kassler, our friend and yours, said Trump is helping Putin's war effort by giving him worshipful sound bites to play on Russian state TV and making the populace feel like this is all okay. How is that not aiding the enemy? I believe Malcolm Nance has thrown the T word around.
A little bit.
I don't know what else you call that.
I am a traitor.
I get we're not technically at war, but I don't. Okay.
I mean,
someone. By the way. Yes, Thom said, is there a word for when an active member of the military chooses to side with an enemy during war? Asking for a Tulsi. Yes.
Yeah, the problem is we haven't legally declared war in 80 years in this country.
Exactly.
Right.
80 long years.
Good. It's always good to let the traitors slip by on a technicality. I think that's fantastic. Okay.
Unfortunately,
Schmoopy.
that technicality is a technicality.
And by the way, these are the same traitors who have been pretending to be anti-war for the last 4 years.
Exactly.
The ones who claimed that they were against Iraq from the beginning. The same people who called you un-American for opposing when Bush did exactly this to a smaller, weaker nation.
Yeah.
Who are now calling you a traitor if you're not support. Stephanie, good God, the people who, when we were kids, hated us because we didn't hate Russia enough, now hate us because we question what Russia's doing.
Right,
It's the
exactly.
same people. Authoritarianism is their only ideology.
Karen in Chicago, you're on with John. Hello.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, well, I can tell you, I was listening to Malcolm earlier, and he does believe that Putin is deranged.
Yeah.
And I just remember learning about World War II when I was a kid, and, how we were fighting with our allies to push back the evil of the Third Reich and Nazism. And, the Russians were our ally in that effort.
Yeah.
And it always just kind of hit me what dirty pool that was for them to basically take over those Soviet, the Eastern Bloc countries. And that was kind of like, a betrayal. And just the fairness of it, as a kid, it was like that was not right. I knew that wasn't right. And, so here, now here we are today. And somebody pointed out last night that if Putin and the Russians go in and take over the entire Ukrainian country,
Right.
they're going to be face to face with U.S. forces, which is something, and it never occurred to me. They've never done that before.
Yeah,
We
that's
have
what,
never
one of the
been
things
face to
Putin, the
face.
unintended consequences Putin may cause is getting American forces in all these surrounding
I mean, he's going to have
countries.
Vietnam and Europe. He's going to have years of guerrilla warfare. These Ukrainians are not going to do this gently. They will be ferocious in their resistance, and it may last a very long time.
Yeah.
Think about the hurt occupying Afghanistan put on Russia.
Yeah.
And they keep saying, oh, Ron DeSantis is the smart Trump, or Chris Christie will be the smart Trump. Putin is the smart Trump. Even
Yeah.
if he's crazy,
Yeah.
he's the smart one.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, and it's like, so I think he is overplaying his hand here, and I think that he's going to start realizing it. And these oligarchs are already feeling the hurt because I think the ruble dropped like 33%.
And
Yeah.
by the way, this
So-
is why we have to have justice in this country, because I just was saying, oh my God, look at this revolving pie wheel. Manafort got pardoned. So maybe Putin will maybe use him again to install another Putin puppet in Ukraine. And then in 2024, reinstall Trump here. When's Glenn Kirshner? Get me Glenn Kirshner.
You have to wait 20 minutes, Stephanie.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Karen.
Have a great weekend.
All
Love
right.
you
Thanks,
guys.
All
Karen.
right, love you too. Middle-aged Riot tweeted, if we're going to freeze Russian assets, we should start with the Republican Party. I mean, this is why all of Malcolm's books,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is exactly, I hate to say it, I hate to give Putin any credit, but, John, this was the brilliance of his evil, is co-opting one party here. And because they helped one candidate in one party, that's
Vladimir
how he's
Putin-
caused permanent divisive. That's why they root for them, because he installed, Trump, and they helped hack the RNC and obviously helped Republicans and hurt Democrats. So obviously, you've got one party here that they've co-opted.
He's the most politically brilliant world leader of our lifetimes. It's too bad he's evil.
Yeah.
And so again, there's no way that you could defend Putin and not be going along with the evil. It's
Well,
just like Trump.
And as you just said about on the right and the left, we've been joking, I guess, about the Tulsis. But it's the Tulsification of the left. I mean, that's all. We still have people on the left that will not admit they were part of Putin's plan. It doesn't mean you're bad. It means that was exactly his plan, was to get Bernie voters
Yeah,
to
but,
either stay home,
yeah.
vote for Jill Stein, or vote for Trump.
I don't think
in
they're
those
really on the left anymore
those
either.
three states that Manafort shared polling data with the Russians. Like, it's not. That's what I mean. It's just I don't feel like the media connects the dots enough between Manafort, Ukraine. All of this is
Of
one
course
story.
they don't. That takes too long. That doesn't get the clicks, Stephanie. Connecting the dots doesn't get the
God.
clicks. But Tulsi was my favorite congresswoman. What was her home? Tucker Carlson's
She
green
is the
room. That's
Susan
her home
Sarandon
business.
of Jill Stein's.
Tucker Carlson's group. But we have friends on the left as well who are so committed to despising moderates.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know what I'm talking
Yep.
about. The never-ending Bernie-Hillary civil war.
Oh, I
where you
was
reach a
unaware
point
till
where
this
you don't-
week. Carlos told me that. I did not realize they've all turned on Bernie now, which I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Bernie's a corporate whore now, apparently.
They've all turned on. They turned on Bernie before the election because he gave in too soon. It's like you don't give a damn about single-payer health care if you're going to do this. We can't have a civil war amongst the left and the moderates. You have to get along with people you don't agree with completely to form a coalition. But right now, they are so committed in their monogamous hatred of anything centrist that they will wind up defending authoritarianism and making it even longer for us to get single-payer health care here. And that's from the left.
Greg tweets about Putin. Again, we'll talk more with Malcolm about this, but he said he's been a terrorist his entire adult life, first with the KGB, from the day a weak Boris Yeltsin elevated him. Chechnya was his first successful terrorist action.
Mm-hmm.
He is a terrorist. He's a murderous thug. He is a war criminal.
Yeah.
And there's just no. This is. Don't you feel like, John? This is the World War II of our generation.
Watch
this is
and
the.
see.
Oh, Hitler went into Poland. I'm sure it'll be fine.
But
right?
watch and see who can't criticize him. Watch and see who in the media and politics cannot say a word against Vladimir Putin. I blame Joe Biden for this, and if Putin kills even more people, I'm going to blame Hunter Biden. And if he commits genocide, I'll blame Hillary Clinton. You know, they can't actually come out and blame him. And this is Fox News primetime hosts. This is members of our Senate. They can't actually come out and criticize him. So they're going to try and make this. I mean, Ted Cruz is so cravenly trying to get people who hate him to hate him less that he's pushing this narrative that Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan is why this is happening. Biden wanting less war is the reason that we have war now.
Trump's surrender agreement with the Taliban is that's.
But they're all doing it because they know they can't come out for whatever reason and actually condemn Putin. And these guys, the problem we have, thank you, Reagan, for getting rid of the fairness doctrine, they can exist in a media ecosystem where they will never be asked a tough question. Yeah. Ted Cruz can do an interview every day and never face a real journalist who'll say, do you condemn what Putin's done?
That's why all the comedians are here on Progress Channel here on Sirius XM and elsewhere. And Albert Brooks tweeted, see, we need comedians to give us silver linings and nice things. Albert Brooks said, the more I hear Trump praising Putin, the more I am certain those P tapes really exist.